Last year's news of the Cambridge Analytica data leak brought us face to face with the fact that having our private lives displayed publicly on social media might actually have negative consequences. We Live in Public was an award-winning documentary film at the Sundance Film Festival in 2009. You don't need to see the film to appreciate the lesson. Living in public has its downside. The documentary follows Josh Harris, a brilliant and perhaps slightly crazy man who intuited the impact of the internet years before anyone else recognized its potential. It was Harris who created what eventually became Facebook. In the 90s, Harris launched a massive art project called Quiet, where he invited dozens of artists to live with him in a bunker, with each bed outfitted with a camera and a TV screen. Life was filmed constantly. Harris turned the multiple surveillance cameras on himself and his girlfriend, Tanya, living full-time on the internet. The project fell apart when the relationship cracked under the pressure of surveillance. While social media has extended our ability to shape our behavior based on the feedback of those around us, this is not a new human trait. Jesus addresses this behavior in the Gospel for Ash Wednesday. Beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen by them, for then you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Jesus understands that we are tremendously needy creatures, and what we long for more than anything else is approval and prestige. So completely are we governed by the desire of others that we risk selling out to them completely. The trouble about seeking the approval of the social other is that you will get it, and with it, you are given a self that is the function of the group's desire. This sells us short. You won't be wanting enough. You will have too little desire. Yourself will be a shadow of what you could be if you allowed the Creator to call you into being. Instead, Jesus urges his disciples to receive their self from another other, your Father, who sees in secret. And whenever you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogue and at the street corners, so that they may be seen by others. But whenever you pray, go into your room and shut the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Jesus completely relativizes the three public cultural functions which we call religion: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. None of these public forms of goodness are bad, but neither are they worth anything in themselves. We desperately need approval, and Jesus doesn't chide us for that. Instead, he urges us to step out of the regard of our social markers and into the regard of our Father who sees in secret. When we hear Jesus urging us to go into your room and shut the door, we naturally think of our private bedroom. But the room that Jesus suggests might best be translated inner room. This was the room in the ancient Middle Eastern house, which was totally enclosed inside a building with no windows. Once you had shut the door from the inside, you could neither see out nor be seen. We must even silence the voices of others we bring in with us, the tapes that are constantly running inside our head. In effect, Jesus is saying, you are addicted to being who you are in the eyes of your adoring public or your abhorring public. It doesn't matter which, since crowd love and crowd hate give identity in just the same dangerous way. every year, God lures us back into the Lenten wilderness so that we might once again discover our heart in the heart of God. God's love leads us from ashes to Easter, from death to new life. God's desire for us is that we might have life and have it abundantly. The really hard matter of prayer is learning to receive ourselves through the eyes of another other. The prayer that accompanies us on this faith journey begins simply enough: Our Father.